Hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about graphing. Over on the right of the page, you'll see what is called a coordinate grid. It's this guy right here. We call that guy coordinate grid. And what we're going to do here is there's different parts of the coordinate grid that we need to know and need to know how to use. You'll see the list of them over on the left-hand side over here. We're going to label the different parts of the coordinate grid. First part we'll take a look at is the x-axis. Those are your horizontal axis. It goes from left to right. So the x-axis is this one right here. The y-axis is your vertical axis. It counts up and down. All right, so this would be the y-axis at the top. You'll notice that the axes create 4 different squares on the graph. We like to be able to talk about each one and everyone kind of be on the same page, so we actually numbered each one of them. This one on the top right is called quadrant 1. Top left is 2. Bottom left is 3. Bottom right is quadrant 4. So those are the 4 parts of the coordinate grid. We'll just kind of, people refer to them, what quadrant is this point in, what quadrant is this point in. You just need to know how they're numbered, and you can see the pattern there. It just goes kind of counterclockwise from the top right. There's one other thing left on our list here, and that is the origin. If you had to guess where you thought the origin was, where you thought everything started, where would you guess? Did you guess the middle? I hope you guessed the middle, because that's where it is. The origin here is right smack in the middle. That's your origin point. That's where everything starts from. Whenever you're graphing any kind of point, you're going to start from the middle. Okay? What you should know about the origin, we're going to write a little note over here, is that it obviously is the starting point. And it is located at 0, 0. It's right in the middle there. So I've given you an ordered pair for the starting point, but we haven't really talked about that yet, so let's jump right in. An ordered pair is an x and y coordinate together that represents a point. You should know that whenever we write these 2 points together, the x comes first and the y comes second. Now, what does each one of those do? Again, whenever we're plotting a point, we start from the middle. We start from 0, 0. The x-coordinate, whatever it happens to be, tells you how far left or right to go. How far left or right to move on the graph. Left would obviously be, as you can see from the graph, would be a negative move, and right would be a positive move. The y-coordinate, maybe you can guess now, tells you how far up or down to move. Again, up is positive, down is negative. That was a lot of information to kind of throw at you from the beginning. If you're not totally solid on it now, go back and start from the beginning again and listen to it again. If you feel as though you're okay with everything, let's move on and try some examples. Here we have some examples that we'd like to kind of put on the graph and see what they look like. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to start with point A. Start point A right here, 3, 2. So remember first that it's always the x, then the y. So left or right first, then up or down. And remember, of course, always we start at the origin. So I'm starting here in the middle. And then I count 3 to the right. So I go 1, 2, 3. And then 2 up. 1, 2. So my final point here for point A is right here at 3, 2. So I'm just going to put an A above it. When you actually go ahead and graph these on your own, you don't need to kind of do the swoops that I did. I'm doing that more for your benefit so you can see how I got to each point. Let's try another one. Point B is located at 5, 1. That tells me I need to go 5 to the right and 1 up. And I end up there, and that'll be point B. Point C, something a little bit different. You notice a negative x. Hopefully we know and have figured out that, negative x is going to the left. So for point C, I go negative 4 to the left. So just 4 to the left, over to negative 4 where it says. And 5 is positive, so I'm still going to go up. So I get up here, and that is where point C is located. I'd like you to pause the video at this point and try the last 3 points on your own. Once you have them where you think they go, come back and we'll figure out where the other 3 are. All right, welcome back. Let's take a look at where points D, E, and F happen to go. D is negative 3, negative 5, so that is 3 to the left, 5 down. 3 to the left, 5 down. That'll be that point right there is point D. E and F are a little bit weird because they got zeros in them, but let's see what that actually means. So point E, positive 4 means 4 to the right, and then 0 up or down. So actually it means that we're going to end up right here on the x-axis. That'll be point E, and that's okay. And lastly, point F has 0 for the x, so that means 0 left or right, and that'll just be 5 up. So just go up the y-axis 5. So if you haven't gone any left or right, just went straight up there, that'll be point F. Okay. Hopefully that all makes sense. Let's move on and try some more examples. For these examples, we have some points on the graph that we're going to have to find the coordinates of. I apologize, I forgot to label them on the notes, but no worries, we can just go ahead and do that right now. It doesn't really matter what point we call what. So this point up here is A, we'll go B, C, D, E, and F. So just take a moment and label each of those points in your notes so that you know which one we're referring to. All right, let's go ahead and find where each of those points is located. Let's start with point A, obviously. So again, I'm still going to start in my origin, and I see A. I have to go over 4 places to get to A, to get underneath it, and then I have to go up 6 to get there. So we would say that I had to go 4 to the right, 6 up. So the point of point A is 4, 6. Point B. Same deal, we're going to start from the origin. Point B, it looks like as though I have to go down 2 to get there, and then over 4. So I went 4 to the right, so I know that that's going to be positive 4 as well. But then I had to go 2 down. So it would be 4, negative 2. Point C. Did I go left or right at all? No, I didn't. I just went down. So in this case, I went 0 places left or right. I just went 2 down. So the point would be 0, negative 2. Again, I'd like you to pause the video and try to find points D, E, and F on your own. When you feel as though you have them, come back to the video and check your work. All right, welcome back. Let's see how we did. Point D, I have to go 2 to the left and 1 up. So I would say that point is at negative 2, 1. Point E, I just go 5 to the left. I don't go up or down. So 5 to the left would be negative 5, 0 up or down. And lastly, point F. It appears as though I have to go 4 to the left, then 6 down. That's going to be -4, -6. I hope that makes sense. The last thing just to look at, and we won't really have to do anything with that, is just talk about the quadrants of each of those points. So point A, if you look back at your notes, which quadrant did that happen to fall into? I hope you guessed quadrant 1, because that's where it is. Point B, it's in the bottom right. So we would say that's quadrant 4. C, that's on an axis, so it actually doesn't fall within a quadrant. We would just say it's on the y-axis. Again, take just a half a second and try and name the last 3 on your own. And away we go. Point D, that would be in quadrant number 2. E would be on the x-axis. And F would be in quadrant number 3. That's all you really have to do is just kind of name it. There's nothing to really calculate there. All right. Hopefully this all makes sense to you. What I'd like you to do is to proceed onto the back of the notes and complete the examples there. And then once you finish that, you can find a partner and work on the Battleship game. Directions will follow on Google Classroom. Bye.